What if I told you that her silence is not the problem, your reaction to it is? Let's be real, my friend. You are in no contact. She is in no contact. Days go by. The phone stays quiet. At first you feel strong, even a little proud. Then the doubt creeps in. You start checking her socials. You replay old messages. You picture her with someone else. You tell yourself you are being stoic, yet inside you are negotiating with your own fear. You are not just missing her body. You are addicted to the idea that she might still want you. Here is the part most men never hear when both of you are silent. The real battle is not between you and her. It is between you and your own mind. Her silence did not create your insecurity. It exposed it. And how you handle this phase will decide whether your value rises in her eyes or whether you quietly confirm every doubt she ever had about you. In this video, we are going to break down exactly what is happening in her psychology when she is also doing no contact and how to handle it with calm, masculine power. No chasing, no begging, no games. Clear strategy and stoic discipline, so you walk out of this stronger, with or without her. Let's get into it. Number 1. Why her silence hits you hard. Let's be honest for a second. Her silence wouldn't shake you this much if it didn't activate something deeper than just missing her. It hits you because it forces you to confront a part of yourself you usually avoid, the part that fears being replaceable. And when a woman you were connected to suddenly goes quiet, that fear wakes up instantly. Most men think they miss her, but what they actually miss is the validation she used to give them. Let me give you a real example so this doesn't stay theoretical. Take Chris, 32, from Austin. After a breakup, he went no contact thinking it would help him regain control. But when Maya, 29, suddenly stopped watching his stories and disappeared online, his mind started spinning. He wasn't just thinking, I miss her. He was thinking, why isn't she thinking about me? Why isn't she checking on me? His panic wasn't about losing her. It was about losing the version of himself he was when she was still responding. That's the psychological punch most men never admit out loud. Her silence forces you into a space you never wanted to be, in a space where you're no longer the center of her attention. And let's be real, that's a hit to the ego. But here's the twist: women know this. They intuitively understand how powerful silence is on a man who's used to being in control of the emotional tempo. And this is where female psychology works differently from male psychology. Men feel tension when communication stops. Women often feel clarity. While your mind is spinning scenarios about what she might be doing, her mind is observing what you will do. This is why so many guys, even strong masculine men, lose their center during no contact. The silence magnifies whatever insecurity already lives inside you. It exposes your dependency. It highlights the moments you ignored your own purpose to revolve your life around her. It shows you how much emotional power you gave away without even realizing it. But here's the deeper truth. You won't hear on social media her silence only affects you when you don't have enough going on in your own life. When you have purpose, goals, brotherhood, routine, silence becomes space, not punishment. Look at Chris again. The moment he started reconnecting with his gym routine, rebuilding his schedule, and focusing on his career, Maya's silence suddenly stopped feeling like a threat. It became background noise. His value rose, not because she texted, but because he stopped needing her to. And that shift in energy is exactly why no contact works in the first place. Women are not attracted to a man who collapses when attention disappears. They are drawn to the man who remains steady, grounded, and composed regardless of what she does. Her silence hits you hard because it reveals what kind of man you are when no one is validating you. It shows whether you're driven by internal stability or external approval. And once you understand that, you stop fearing the silence. you start mastering it. Stay with me, because in the next part we're going to break down what her silence actually means on her side, and why it isn't what you think it is. Number 2. The real reason you crave her. Let's be honest. When she goes silent, when she pulls back, when she stops giving you the affection or attention she once did, something inside you wakes up. It's not weakness, it's not desperation, it's psychology. And if you don't understand what's happening, you'll think you're in love when in reality you're reacting to something much deeper, much older, and much more instinctive. Here's the truth most men never realize. You don't crave her. You crave the emotional certainty she used to give you. When a woman pulls away, she unintentionally takes that certainty with her. The good morning texts stop. The affection fades. The validation disappears. And suddenly, your mind goes into what the Stoics call a disturbance of the soul. Marcus Aurelius described it as the mind clinging to something outside itself and losing its footing. That's exactly what happens when she's gone. You're not missing her. You're missing the version of yourself you felt you could be when she was warm, feminine, affectionate, and present. What you crave is the comfort she represented: security, approval, intimacy, closeness. When she withdraws, the brain interprets it as loss, even danger. That's why your thoughts loop. That's why you keep checking your phone. That's why your imagination creates scenarios that never actually happened. Silence becomes a mirror, and it reflects back all the things you haven't healed yet. But here's the twist. The craving increases when she stops giving you access. This is classic scarcity psychology. When something becomes limited, the emotional intensity rises. Every man feels this, no matter how confident he is. And women know this instinctively. When she goes silent, it's not always intentional, but it always has impact. The Stoics understood this dynamic perfectly. Epictetus said, "You become enslaved to whatever you cannot let go of." And when you crave her, when you fixate, when you obsess, you're not longing for love, you're handing away your power. And this is where men destroy themselves during no contact. They think craving her means she is the one. They think the emotional pain means they need closure. They think the discomfort is a sign to reach out, explain, or chase. But craving is not love. Craving is attachment mixed with fear. And attachment mixed with fear makes you do the one thing that kills attraction, acting out of need instead of choice. This is why her silence hits so deeply. It forces you to confront parts of yourself that the relationship distracted you from. It brings up old rejection wounds, past heartbreaks, insecurities you buried under routine and affection. What you think is missing her is actually your emotional system scrambling to restore equilibrium. But here's the empowering part. Once you realize the craving is internal, not about her, you stop being controlled by it. You become calm again. You regain the masculine center you lost. And paradoxically, that's the moment when women feel your shift and start thinking about you. Because nothing pulls a woman's mind back like a man who stops being emotionally dependent on her responses. Now, before we move on, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and say, "I choose strength." It's a simple line, but writing it reinforces the mindset you need moving forward. And stay with me, because what we're about to get into next will reframe the entire way you see her silence. And once you understand it, you'll never react the same way again. Number 3. What her no contact is really doing. Let's get honest, my friend. When she goes no contact at the same time you do, most men assume she's done, she's moved on, or she doesn't care. But that's not how female psychology works. Her silence has nothing to do with being finished. It has everything to do with how she processes uncertainty, emotion, and control. Women use no contact completely differently than men do. Take a guy like Mark, 48, from Ohio. When his ex, Rachel, 45, stopped responding after their breakup, he panicked inside but tried to act tough on the outside. His silence came from fear. But Rachel's silence, that came from calculation. She wasn't trying to disappear forever. She was trying to see what staying quiet would reveal. That's the truth most men don't understand. When a woman goes silent, she's not trying to end the story. She's trying to see your reaction without letting you see hers. Her no contact is doing 3 major things to her psychology, even if she'll never admit it. First, it amplifies whatever emotion she's already feeling. If she was hurt, the silence intensifies the hurt. If she was confused, the silence deepens the confusion. If she was attracted, the silence makes the attraction sharper. That's why you sometimes feel her energy even when nothing is happening. Her mind is looping. She's replaying the last moments she had with you. She's wondering if she misread things. She's questioning whether you've already moved on. Second, no contact forces her into self-comparison. She starts imagining the version of you she thinks you are now. And here's where it gets interesting. Women rarely assume the man is falling apart. Their fear is usually the opposite. They imagine you doing better, looking better, living better. And that imagination creates tension inside her. Third, her silence protects her ego. Let's be real. Women hate losing emotional leverage. By not texting you, she gets to pretend she's unbothered, even when she's not. She gets to hold the illusion of control. The silence gives her safety, but it also traps her in her own thoughts. Look at Mark again. After 3 weeks, he was sure Rachel didn't miss him. But what was happening on her side? She was checking his last seen status, stalking his Facebook, asking her friends if a man at his age really moves on that fast. While she stayed silent, her curiosity grew into frustration, and frustration into desire. That's the cycle men never see. Her silence is not emotional strength, it's emotional pressure building. And here's the part you need to understand. When you don't chase during her no contact, she has no data, no reassurance, no confirmation that she still has you. And uncertainty is the fuel that pulls a woman deeper into her own attachment. That's why your discipline matters more than anything else right now. If you really want to anchor yourself as the man in control, drop this in the comments. I stay grounded. Stick with me, because the next truth will flip your perspective on no contact completely and show you why emotional pressure always works in your favor. Number 4. Signs you must not respond to. Listen, my friend. When a woman breaks the silence during no contact, most men jump at the very first thing she sends. They respond to crumbs. They respond to meaningless messages. They respond because they're starving for connection. But a man who understands female psychology and understands himself knows that not every message deserves a reply. Some texts are designed to test you, not reconnect with you. Let's break down the signs you must never respond to, especially when you're holding your frame. The first one is the soft check-ins. Messages like, "Hey, how are you?" or "Hope you're doing well." These are not reconnection attempts. These are ego pings. She wants to know if you're still available emotionally without offering anything of value in return. Responding to these tells her you're still waiting. That kills attraction on the spot. Another sign is when she sends something that pretends to be friendly but carries no intention to move things forward. A meme, a random picture. This reminded me of you. This isn't effort. This isn't vulnerability. This is her trying to keep your attention in the cheap seats while giving nothing real. Do not respond to that. Then you have the guilt-based messages. "I guess you don't care anymore," or "Wow, I didn't expect you to disappear too." These aren't invitations to talk. These are emotional traps meant to pull you back into the dynamic where she held the power. A man who values himself does not validate guilt-based bait. There's also the jealousy play. She posts something online meant to provoke you. She updates her story with another guy. She makes sure you see her living it up. And sometimes she'll even send something indirectly, hoping you'll crumble. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you respond from jealousy, you reveal your emotional weakness. Stay silent. One of the trickiest signs is the accidental text. Something unrelated, something she didn't mean to send. My friend, nothing about it is accidental. She wants a reaction without having to admit she wants you. If you answer, you reward manipulation. Let her sit in her own game. The reason you must not respond to these signs is simple. None of them show real intent, real accountability, or real desire to rebuild connection. They only serve her comfort, not your growth. And your job right now is to stabilize yourself, not feed her ego. Remember this: responding teaches her that you can be pulled out of your center by minimal effort. Silence teaches her she must rise to your level if she wants access to you again. A Stoic man acts from principle, not impulse. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be good, first believe that you are evil," meaning recognize your own weaknesses before you act. Your weakness is the urge to respond because it soothes your insecurity. Master that urge, and you master the entire dynamic. Now, if you truly want to anchor your strength during no contact, drop this in the comments. I answer with purpose. And before we continue, if you want the deeper, unfiltered lessons, I can't share publicly the psychological breakdowns, the advanced Stoic frameworks, and the step-by-step strategies that transform how women respond to you. Join the private membership. It's where the real work happens. Stay tuned, because what comes next will shift your understanding of her behavior in a way most men never figure out. Number 5. The fake reach out you must ignore. Let's be real, my friend. Not every message from her is a real attempt to reconnect. Some of them are fake reach outs. They look harmless, casual, even sweet on the surface. But underneath they are nothing more than emotional fishing lines meant to check whether you're still available. And if you take the bait, you lose ground instantly. To understand this, you need to look at how women behave when uncertainty hits them. They do not like feeling out of the loop. They do not like losing control of the emotional dynamic. So instead of reaching out with intention, vulnerability, or clarity, they send something light, something small, something that lets them test the waters without risking rejection. Let me show you exactly how this plays out in real life. Take Daniel, 52, from Arizona. He was in no contact with Melissa, 49, after a messy breakup that left both of them confused. 2 weeks into silence, Melissa sent him a message that said, "Did you ever fix that leaky faucet?" On the surface it seemed friendly, familiar, but Daniel felt that tight pull in his chest. He wanted to read meaning into it. He wanted it to be her missing him, but deep down he knew it wasn't. Melissa didn't ask to see him. She didn't bring up the relationship. She didn't express regret. It was a breadcrumb, nothing more. And Daniel did the right thing. He stayed silent. Here's why that was powerful. Fake reach-outs are designed to soothe her anxiety, not rebuild connection. These messages give her reassurance that she hasn't lost you completely without her giving up any of her own emotional safety. It's her way of checking your temperature while keeping her own risk at zero. Another example, Emily, 46, reached out to her ex Mark, 50, with a message that said, "You won't believe what happened at work today." Now that might sound like an opening, but ask yourself this: does that move anything forward? Does it address the silence? Does it take accountability? Does it show intention? No, it's a placeholder message. It gives her comfort without giving you clarity. Here's the rule you need to anchor in your mind. If the message doesn't require emotional investment from her, it doesn't deserve emotional investment from you. A real reach-out looks different. It carries weight. It carries vulnerability. It acknowledges the distance. A fake reach-out usually falls into one of these categories. She sends something random that doesn't connect to anything meaningful. She references something old to spark nostalgia without committing to deeper conversation. She asks a neutral question she can pretend was no big deal. She tries to provoke your curiosity just to see if you'll respond. In all of these situations, responding only does one thing. It tells her she can still access your attention without putting in effort. And once she knows that she has no reason to step up, when Daniel ignored Melissa's message, something interesting happened. 3 days later, she texted again, but this time it wasn't casual. She said, "I've been thinking about us. Can we talk?" That's the difference. Now you're dealing with real emotion, not ego maintenance. Your silence forces clarity. Her silence creates pressure, and pressure is what brings truth to the surface. If you ever struggled with ignoring these bait messages, drop this in the comments. I hold the line. Don't go anywhere, because what comes next will show you the only type of message that truly matters, and how responding correctly flips the entire dynamic in your favor. Number 6. The only message that truly matters. Let's be straight, my friend. When you're in no contact and she finally reaches out, most men grab onto anything. Any text, any emoji, any half-hearted check-in. But if you want to keep your power, and if you want the dynamic to flip in your favor, you must understand one thing clearly. There is only one message that actually matters. Not the "hey", not the "how have you been", not the meme, not the nostalgia bait, not the fake accidental text. None of those mean anything. The only message that matters is the one that carries intent, accountability, and vulnerability. The message where she acknowledges the distance. The message where she steps out from behind her pride. The message where she risks something emotionally to reconnect with you. That is the moment you pay attention. A real message doesn't hide behind casual words. It doesn't pretend nothing happened. It doesn't test you. It doesn't fish for your attention. A real message reveals emotional truth. Something like, "I've been thinking about us. I'm sorry for how things ended. Can we talk? I miss you." Anything less than that is noise. And responding to noise destroys the entire point of no contact. Let's break down why this matters. When a woman reaches out with a real message, she is lowering her guard. She's choosing discomfort instead of ego. That alone tells you the emotional pressure you created worked. It means she felt the silence. She thought about you. She ran through scenarios. She considered your absence. And then she chose to break it not for attention, but because she wants resolution or reconnection. This is the moment where the dynamic resets. But if you respond to casual messages, you never get here. You interrupt the psychological process too early. You relieve her tension before it grows strong enough to push her into vulnerability. And that vulnerability is exactly what reveals her real intentions. Seneca said, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." It applies perfectly here. If you don't know which message matters, you'll respond to anything. You'll drift wherever your emotions push you. And that is the opposite of masculine control. A man who understands himself knows that silence is a filter. It separates genuine intention from emotional impulses. It separates curiosity from desire. It separates ego from truth. And here's the deeper psychological layer. A woman who sends a real message has already been thinking about you long before she pressed send. She imagined the conversation. She replayed the last moments. She questioned what she lost. She feared you moved on. She wondered if she misjudged your power. By the time she writes something real, she has already reached a point most men never give her space to reach emotional clarity. That's why your discipline up to this point matters. You didn't break. You didn't chase. You didn't respond to crumbs. You held the frame long enough for her to step into her own truth instead of hiding behind games. And when that message finally arrives, the one that carries weight, you respond from strength, not hunger. Calm, controlled masculine. If you want to stay solid in moments like this, drop this in the comments. I wait for truth. Stay with me, because what comes next reveals the test she will give you after sending that real message, and how your response decides the entire outcome. Number 7. The test that reveals her intent. Let's talk about something most men never see coming, my friend. Once she finally sends that real, emotionally honest message, not the crumbs, not the games, she is going to test you. Every woman does this, even the mature ones. Not because she wants to play with your head, but because she wants to confirm one thing. Are you the man she remembers, or the man she hopes you've become? And this test always reveals her true intent. To make this real for you, let me show you how it plays out in the lives of men just like you. Take Jason, 55, from Colorado. After 6 weeks of no contact, his ex, Laura, 52, finally reached out with a clear message. I've been thinking, can we talk? That was the honest opening. But the moment Jason agreed to a calm conversation, she immediately shifted the tone. She said, I'm not sure how I feel anymore, just to see what he would do. She wasn't confused. She was testing his emotional grounding. Most men in Jason's position would panic. They'd start explaining themselves. They'd try to convince her. They'd show insecurity without realizing it. But Jason didn't do that. He stayed steady. He said, take the time you need. No pressure, no neediness, no emotional wobble. And that response told Laura everything she needed to know. His stability wasn't an act. It was who he had become. That's the point you need to understand. Her test is not about hurting you. It's about evaluating you. And the test always comes in one of a few forms. She might pull back slightly after reaching out. She might bring up something emotional to see if you get defensive. She might play indifferent for a moment to watch your reaction. She might even mention another man casually to see if you lose control. All of these are designed to answer a simple question. Are you reacting or are you leading? Women are incredibly sensitive to emotional shifts. They can feel when a man is acting strong versus when a man is strong. And nothing exposes that faster than the moment she challenges your equilibrium. Look at Michelle, 47, who reached out to her ex Andrew, 51. She sent him a message full of vulnerability. I miss how we used to talk. But the next day she followed it with, maybe it's too late. Not because she believed that, but because she wanted to see if Andrew would chase. She wanted to see if he would drop his frame. She wanted to see if his desire was stronger than his discipline. Andrew didn't fall for it. He replied calmly, if it's too late, that's something we both figure out over time. No panic, no desperation, no emotional collapse. And that one answer told Michelle he was no longer the man who needed her validation to feel steady. And here's the deeper truth. A woman tests you because she wants clarity. If she didn't care, she wouldn't test at all. Silence is indifference. Testing is investment. Your job isn't to win the test. Your job is to remain yourself while she gives it. The men who fail are the ones who change their tone, their energy, or their confidence the moment she pushes a little. The men who succeed are the ones who stay aligned with who they've become, calm, grounded, intentional. If you're ready to hold your frame when that test comes, drop this in the comments. I stay steady. Stay tuned, because the next part shows you why your silence used correctly becomes the very force that pulls her back in stronger than before. Number 8. Why staying silent pulls her closer. Let's be honest, my friend. Silence is the one thing most men are terrified of using, yet it's also the one thing that works better than anything else. When you stay silent at the right moment, especially during no contact or right after she sends a weak message, you trigger something in her psychology that talking can never achieve. Men think communication builds attraction. Women know mystery builds attraction. And silence is mystery.